The massive doors of the Galactic Concordance Council chamber opened with a deep rumble that echoed through the enormous space. Commander Jake Morrison stepped inside first, his boots clicking against the polished stone floor. Behind him walked Ambassador Lisa Brooks, her diplomatic case held firmly in her right hand. The two humans looked small in the vast chamber that could hold thousands of beings. Jake looked around the room and counted 47 different alien species arranged in curved rows that rose up like a giant amphitheater. Some aliens floated in energy bubbles. Others sat on platforms designed for their unique body shapes. A few hung from the ceiling on mechanical arms. The variety was stunning, but Jake had seen it all before during his years of military service. Lisa walked with confidence toward the center of the chamber, where two simple chairs waited for them. She had been Earth's chief diplomat for over a decade and had handled difficult negotiations across the galaxy. This meeting felt different, though. The aliens seemed more aggressive than usual. Their body language suggested this would not be a friendly discussion. The Vorthak Prime Speaker rose from his position at the highest point in the chamber. The crystalline being stood 12 feet tall and glowed with inner light that pulsed with each word he spoke. His voice boomed through translation devices that converted his sounds into human language. Representatives of the species called humans, the Prime Speaker began, you have been summoned before this council to answer for your violations of established galactic law. Jake and Lisa exchanged a quick glance. They had expected accusations, but the formal tone suggested something more serious than usual complaints about human expansion. Lisa stood and activated her portable translator. Ambassador Lisa Brooks and Commander Jake Morrison representing Earth and her colonies. We are here to discuss any concerns the Council may have. A ripple of what sounded like laughter came from the alien delegates. The Zilani Federation representative, a massive insect-like creature with 4 arms, clicked his mandibles in what Jake recognized as amusement. Discuss? The Zilani delegate said. You will listen and obey. Your species has expanded into 12 star systems without proper authorization. You have established colonies on worlds that were not assigned to you. You have built military installations without council oversight. Jake felt his jaw tighten. Every human colony had followed the guidelines they had been given when Earth first made contact with the galactic community. They had submitted reports, requested permissions, and waited for responses that rarely came. When no objections were raised, humanity had assumed silence meant approval. Lisa opened her diplomatic case and pulled out a datapad. We have documentation showing full compliance with all guidelines provided to Earth upon first contact. Every colony was established according to the protocols we were given. The Prime Speaker's glow intensified. Guidelines are not laws, human. The Council decides which species may expand and where. Your rapid growth threatens the established order. More sounds of agreement came from the assembled aliens. Jake noticed that species he had thought were neutral were nodding along with the more aggressive delegates. This felt like a setup, as if the decision had already been made before humans even arrived. A new voice spoke from the left side of the chamber. Commander Jake recognized the Althari representative, a tall, blue-skinned humanoid with large black eyes. The human species reproduces too quickly. Their colonies grow too fast. They adapt to new environments without proper biological controls. Lisa stepped forward. Our reproduction rate and adaptation capabilities are natural traits of our species. We cannot change our basic biology. You can control it, the Zilani delegate said, as other species have learned to do under Council guidance. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. The way the alien said, learn to do, suggested methods that might not be voluntary. He touched his neural interface and sent a coded message to Captain Elena Rodriguez aboard their ship in orbit above the planet. The Prime Speaker raised one of his crystalline arms for silence. The Galactic Concordance Council has reached a decision regarding the human problem. You will surrender administrative control of the 12 disputed colonies to Council oversight. You will limit future expansion to 1 new world per decade. You will accept Council advisors on Earth to ensure compliance with galactic law. The chamber erupted in alien sounds of approval. Clicks, whistles, growls, and electronic tones created a symphony of agreement that made Jake's ears ring. Lisa stood perfectly still, her face showing no emotion as she processed the demands. "And if Earth refuses these terms?" Lisa asked quietly. The Zilani delegate leaned forward, his compound eyes reflecting the chamber's lights. "Then the Council will implement enforcement measures to ensure galactic peace and stability." Jake received a message through his neural interface from Captain Rodriguez. Multiple alien fleets had been detected moving toward human colonies over the past week. Large numbers of warships were positioning themselves near human settlements. While the diplomatic meeting was taking place, Lisa closed her datapad and placed it back in her case. "The government of Earth will need time to consider these demands. 48 hours, the Prime Speaker declared. After that time, the Council will assume that humanity chooses to remain in violation of galactic law." Jake stood up beside Lisa. Something in the way the aliens were looking at them made his military instincts activate. These beings were not interested in negotiation. They wanted submission or elimination. Lisa nodded formally to the Prime Speaker. "We will return to our ship and consult with our government." As they turned to leave, Lisa made a comment that seemed casual but carried weight that few in the chamber understood. "We will need to discuss this with our people back home." The way she said "our people" made several of the empathic species in the chamber shift uncomfortably. Something in her tone suggested numbers and capabilities that the Council had not considered in their calculations. Jake and Lisa walked toward the massive doors as alien voices resumed their discussions behind them. The sound grew louder and more excited, as if the delegates were already planning how to divide up human territory. As they reached the exit, Jake sent another coded message to Captain Rodriguez. The message was simple, but would change everything. That followed. "Contact High Command. Full consultation required. Council has made their position clear." The doors closed behind them with the same deep rumble that had announced their arrival. In the chamber they left behind, 47 alien species continued their celebrations, confident that they had just solved the human problem forever. None of them realized that they had just made the greatest mistake in galactic history. The humans were going home to talk to their people, and their people numbered in the hundreds of billions across territories the Council had never imagined existed. The human diplomatic vessel moved through space in complete silence. Commander Jake Morrison sat at the communications console while Ambassador Lisa Brooks reviewed her notes from the Council meeting. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood at the main display, her fingers dancing over the holographic controls as she prepared for the most important conversation in human history. "Quantum link established with Earth High Command," Elena announced. "General Nathan Cross and Admiral Kate Sullivan are standing by." The main hologram projector activated, filling the center of the bridge with two figures. General Cross appeared first, his gray hair and weathered face showing the strain of his position as Earth's top military commander. Admiral Sullivan materialized beside him, her sharp blue eyes already focused on the tactical displays surrounding her image. "Report," General Cross said without preamble. Lisa stepped forward. "The Council has issued an ultimatum. They want control of 12 colonies, limits on expansion, and Council advisors on Earth. They gave us 48 hours to comply." Admiral Sullivan's expression darkened. "And if we refuse?" Jake activated his neural interface and transmitted the tactical data he had gathered. "Multiple alien fleets have been moving toward our colonies. This was never meant to be a negotiation. They plan to use force from the beginning." The hologram flickered as additional figures joined the conversation. Colonel Peter Hayes appeared, his intelligence badge clearly visible on his uniform. Dr. Sharon Martinez, Earth's chief scientist, stood beside him with a data pad in her hands. "Show them the real picture," General Cross ordered. Admiral Sullivan gestured to someone off-screen. The space around the holograms filled with star charts that made Jake's breath catch in his throat. The maps showed not just the 12 colonies the Council knew about, but hundreds of human settlements spread across 3 entire spiral arms of the galaxy. "The Council thinks we have 12 colonies," Admiral Sullivan said quietly. "We actually have over 800 active settlements and another 300 under construction." Elena stared at the display. Even she had not known the full scope of human expansion. Her diplomatic missions had only taken her to the border regions where humans interacted with known alien species. Dr. Martinez stepped forward. We have been following what we thought were binding laws. The council guidelines were treated as absolute rules by our expansion committees. We deliberately held back our growth to appear non-threatening. Colonel Hayes activated his own display. Intelligence. Analysis shows this is a pattern. The council has been using this same method for over 1,000 years. They identify rapidly expanding species and force them into submission before they become too powerful. The intelligence officer's data showed dozens of extinct civilizations that had once thrived in areas now controlled by council species. Each had been given similar ultimatums. Those who submitted became client states with limited rights. Those who refused faced systematic destruction. They made one critical error in their analysis. Dr. Martinez continued. They assumed we were like other species they had encountered before. They studied our border colonies and extrapolated our capabilities based on what they could see. Jake leaned forward. What did they miss? Admiral Sullivan smiled, but there was no warmth in the expression. They missed the fact that we are not a normal species. Every other race in the galaxy evolved on stable worlds with predictable environments. Earth tried to kill us every single day for millions of years. The Admiral activated another display showing Earth's history. Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, climate changes, and mass extinctions had shaped human evolution in ways that no other known species had experienced. We are the only species that developed as generalists rather than specialists, Dr. Martinez explained. Every other race in the council adapted to specific environments and then stayed there. We adapted to constant change and learned to thrive in any environment. General Cross took control of the presentation. Show them our real military capabilities. The star charts changed to show military deployments. Jake felt his heart rate increase as he saw the true extent of human military power. The ships the Council had observed represented less than 1% of humanity's actual fleet strength. Most of our military assets are stationed in deep space territories that the Council does not know exist, Admiral Sullivan explained. We have been building in systems they have never explored, using resources they have never cataloged. Colonel Hayes highlighted specific ship classes on the display. Our technology has advanced far beyond Council standards. While they focused on maintaining existing capabilities, we continued innovating out of necessity. Elena found her voice. How is this possible? How did we advance so far without them noticing? Dr. Martinez smiled for the first time during the conversation. Because they assumed we thought like they do. Council species reach a comfortable level of technology and then stop innovating. They see no need to improve what already works. Humans never stop improving, General Cross added. Our survival instinct drives constant innovation. Every challenge makes us stronger and more adaptable. The conversation was interrupted by an urgent alert from the bridge communication system. Jake checked the incoming message and felt his blood turn cold. Sir, we are receiving reports from colony worlds. Alien fleets are taking positions around our settlements. They are not waiting for the 48-hour deadline. Admiral Sullivan's expression became ice cold. They are moving to eliminate our colonies before we can respond. They want to present us with a fait accompli. Colonel Hayes pulled up real-time intelligence data. Confirmed. The Council species are coordinating attacks on what they believe are our most important settlements. They think they can cripple us with surgical strikes. Lisa looked at the tactical displays with growing concern. Can we defend the colonies they are targeting? Admiral Sullivan exchanged a look with General Cross. We can do better than defend them. We can show the Council why humans have survived every challenge our world ever presented. The Admiral turned to address Jake and Lisa directly. You are about to witness something that has never happened in galactic history. A species that was forced to hide its true capabilities is about to stop pretending to be weak. General Cross leaned forward. Commander Morris and Ambassador Brooks, you are hereby ordered to return to the Council and inform them that humanity rejects their ultimatum. Tell them that the age of human restraint is over. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. What about The alien fleet's moving on our colonies. Admiral Sullivan's smile became predatory. They are about to learn why Earth is the only world in the galaxy that produces apex predators as the dominant species. Captain Rodriguez, prepare your ship for combat operations. Elena straightened. Combat operations, Admiral? You are no longer a diplomatic vessel, Admiral Sullivan declared. You are now the tip of the spear that will introduce the galaxy to the real human race. The quantum communication ended, leaving the three humans alone on the bridge surrounded by star charts that showed the true scope of human civilization. Jake looked at the displays and realized that everything was about to change. The council thought they were dealing with a young species that could be intimidated. They were about to discover they had awakened something that had been deliberately sleeping. The galaxy was about to meet humanity without restraints, and nothing would ever be the same. The council chamber buzzed with excitement as the alien delegates gathered for what they believed would be humanity's surrender. The Vorthak Prime Speaker stood at his elevated position, his crystalline body glowing brighter than usual. The Zalani Federation representative clicked his mandibles in satisfaction, while other species made their own sounds of approval. Ambassador Lisa Brooks and Commander Jake Morrison entered the chamber, but something had changed about them. Lisa no longer carried herself like a diplomat seeking compromise. Her stride was confident and purposeful. Jake walked beside her with the bearing of a soldier who had received new orders that changed everything. The Prime Speaker's voice boomed through the chamber. Representatives of humanity, have you come to accept the Council's terms? Lisa stopped at the center of the chamber and looked up at the assembled aliens. We have consulted with our people as promised. We have an answer for the Council. Alien delegates leaned forward eagerly. Many had already begun planning how to divide up human territories and resources. The Althari representative had prepared colonization proposals for the most valuable human worlds. Excellent, the Prime Speaker declared. The Council is prepared to accept your surrender and begin the process of bringing humanity into proper compliance with galactic law. Jake touched his neural interface and sent a coded signal to Captain Elena Rodriguez. Aboard their ship, Elena activated systems that had been hidden during their previous visit. The vessel's true capabilities began to emerge from behind layers of concealment technology. Lisa opened her diplomatic case and pulled out a single data pad. Before we give our answer, the Council should be aware of certain facts that may have been overlooked in your calculations. The Zalani delegates' mandibles clicked in annoyance. There are no facts that can change the Council's decision. You will comply or face the consequences. Captain Rodriguez, Lisa said quietly into her communicator. Please show the Council what they have missed. The chamber's main display activated, showing the space around the planet. The delegates expected to see one small human diplomatic vessel. Instead, the screen revealed dozens of human ships that had been invisible just moments before. A wave of confusion swept through the chamber as the aliens realized they had been surrounded without knowing it. The ships were unlike anything in their databases, sleek and dangerous-looking with weapon systems that defied their understanding of military technology. Jake stepped forward. The Council assumed we came here with one ship. We actually brought a full battle group that has been watching and listening to every word spoken in this chamber. The Prime Speaker's glow flickered with what might have been uncertainty. Impossible. Our sensors showed only one vessel. Your sensors showed what we wanted them to show, Lisa replied calmly. Human stealth technology is several centuries ahead of anything the Council has encountered. A new voice spoke from the human ships. This is Admiral Kate Sullivan of the Earth Defense Force. Council delegates, you are now surrounded by the 7th Fleet. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The humans had not come as supplicants begging for mercy. They had come as predators studying their prey. Admiral Sullivan's image appeared on the chamber's main display. Her cold blue eyes surveyed the assembled aliens with the calculating gaze of a career military officer. Council delegates, you have made several errors in your assessment of humanity. The Vorthak Prime Speaker tried to regain control of the situation. This is an act of war. The Council will not be threatened by a primitive species. Primitive? Admiral Sullivan smiled, and several empathic species in the chamber instinctively backed away from her image. Colonel Rick Thompson, please demonstrate our primitive technology. The display switched to show tactical data from the human fleet. In the space of 17 seconds, targeting systems locked onto every alien vessel in the system. Not just the main ships, but every shuttle, probe, and communication relay. Colonel Thompson's voice came through the chamber's speakers. All alien vessels are now targeted. Weapons systems are locked and ready. We can disable or destroy every ship in this system before any of them can send a distress signal. The silence in the chamber became absolute. The aliens had never seen coordination and speed like this. Their own military responses took minutes to organize. The humans had achieved complete tactical superiority in less than 20 seconds. Doctor. Sarah Kim's voice joined the conversation from the human fleet. Council delegates, you have spent the last hour discussing humanity as if we were just another species you could intimidate. Allow me to explain why this was a mistake. The display, filled with comparative data, showing human technological advancement. While council species reached comfortable levels of development and stopped innovating, humanity never stopped improving. Your technology is based on principles we abandoned centuries ago. The Zilani delegate tried to rally the other species. Numbers. The council has thousands of ships, these humans have only dozens. Admiral Sullivan's smile became predatory. Actually, we have quite a few more than that. Admiral John Carter, please show the council our actual force strength. The space around the planet suddenly filled with human vessels. Hundreds of ships materialized from hyperspace in perfect formation. Massive dreadnoughts appeared alongside sleek destroyers and carriers bristling with fighter craft. The alien delegates watched in growing horror as the human fleet continued to grow. Each new wave of ships was larger and more advanced than the last. Within minutes, the human force outnumbered every alien vessel in the system by 10 to 1. This is impossible, the Althari representative whispered. Our intelligence showed that humanity had only a few dozen military vessels. General Lisa Parker's voice came from the command ship. Your intelligence was based on what we allowed you to see. We have been watching your species for decades while appearing weak and compliant. The display showed detailed intelligence files on every species in the council. Military capabilities, political weaknesses, biological vulnerabilities, and economic dependencies were laid out in precise detail. We know how to defeat each of your species individually, General Parker continued. We also know how to defeat all of you working together. This knowledge was gathered while you believed we were primitives who posed no threat. Commander Jake Morrison stepped forward to address the stunned aliens. The council made a fundamental error in its understanding of humanity. You assumed we were like other species you had encountered. The display showed Earth's violent history and the evolutionary pressures that had shaped humanity. Every other species in this chamber evolved on stable worlds with predictable environments. You developed as specialists adapted to specific conditions. Lisa took over the explanation. Humans evolved on a world that tried to kill us every day. We developed as generalists who could adapt to any challenge. While your species sought comfort and stability, we learned to thrive in chaos and uncertainty. The prime speaker's glow had dimmed considerably. What do you want from the council? Admiral Sullivan's image returned to the display. We want you to understand the new reality. The age of council dominance is over. Humanity will continue expanding as we choose, when we choose, and how we choose. Any attempt to interfere with human expansion will result in consequences your species cannot survive, General Parker added. We have the capability to eliminate any threat to our people. The chamber erupted in panicked alien voices as the delegates realized their situation. They had called in the apex predators of the galaxy and threatened them with extinction. The humans had responded by revealing capabilities that made resistance impossible. Lisa closed her data pad and placed it in her case. The council can continue to exist as a forum for peaceful species, but your days of enforcing limitations on others are finished. Jake and Lisa turned and walked toward the chamber doors. Behind them, 47 alien species sat in stunned silence, finally understanding that they had awakened something that had been deliberately sleeping. The doors opened, and the humans walked out. The council knew fear instantly. The massive doors of the council chamber sealed shut behind Ambassador Lisa Brooks and Commander Jake Morrison. Inside, 47 alien species sat in complete silence, the weight of their new reality crushing down on them like a physical force. The Vorthak Prime Speaker's crystalline body had dimmed to barely a flicker of its former brightness. Outside the chamber, Lisa and Jake walked through the corridors of the council station with steady, confident steps. Their footsteps echoed in the empty hallways as alien staff members pressed themselves against walls to let them pass. Word of what had happened in the chamber was already spreading through the station. "Admiral Sullivan, we are clear of the chamber." Jake spoke into his communicator. "Council delegates are remaining in session." "Understood, Commander," came the reply. "All human vessels are standing by for further orders." Inside the chamber, the Zilani Federation representative was the first to break the terrible silence. His mandibles clicked nervously as he spoke. "We must contact our home fleets immediately. The Council cannot allow this threat to go unanswered." The Althari delegate shook his blue-skinned head. "Did you not see what they just demonstrated? They have been watching us for decades. They know everything about our military capabilities. More than that," whispered a small delegate from the Corvin Collective. "They disabled our entire fleet in 17 seconds. 17 seconds. Our fastest response time is measured in minutes." The Prime Speaker tried to restore order to the panicking assembly. "The Council has faced threats before. We have always found ways to maintain galactic stability." "Not like this," said the representative from the Theta Syndicate. "Every other species we faced was limited by their biology and culture. These humans are something completely different." On the main display, the human fleet continued to hold position around the planet. The ships moved with precision that spoke of advanced coordination and training. No alien military force had ever demonstrated such perfect formation flying. Admiral Kate Sullivan's voice cut through the alien discussions. "Council delegates, you have 30 minutes to make contact with your home governments and explain the new situation. After that time, human forces will begin enforcing our territorial claims." The chamber erupted in panic as delegates rushed to their communication devices. The Vorthak Prime Speaker activated his emergency transmission system and began sending urgent messages to the Imperium homeworld. "Imperium Command, this is Prime Speaker Zethkar. The human situation has escalated beyond all projections. Request immediate military support." The response came back within minutes. "Prime Speaker, Imperium intelligence reports massive human fleet movements throughout the galaxy. Ships are appearing in systems we thought were empty. How many vessels do they actually possess?" The Prime Speaker looked at the tactical display showing hundreds of human ships around the Council planet. "We believe this represents only a small fraction of their actual military strength." Similar conversations were taking place throughout the chamber as each species contacted their home governments. The reports they received painted a picture that filled them with growing dread. The Zilani Federation Military Command reported human fleets appearing near their border worlds. The ships made no aggressive moves but positioned themselves where they could not be ignored. The message was clear. Humanity could strike at any target they chose. Dr. Sarah Kim's voice came from the human fleet. "Council delegates, you are receiving reports from your governments about human fleet movements. This is not an invasion or an attack. This is a demonstration of capability." The display showed star maps of the galaxy with human positions marked in blue. The aliens stared in horror as they realized the true scope of human expansion. Blue dots appeared in sectors they had thought were uninhabited. "We have colonies and military bases in over 2,000 star systems," Dr. Kim continued. "Most of these installations have been operating for decades without Council knowledge." General Lisa Parker's image appeared on the display. "The Council spent centuries believing you knew the extent of human civilization. You based your ultimatum on incomplete and outdated information." The Althari delegate found his voice. "How is this possible? Our scout ships have explored those regions. They reported no signs of intelligent life." "Because we did not want to be found," Admiral Sullivan replied. "Human stealth technology allowed us to remain hidden while we studied your species and learned about galactic politics." Colonel Peter Hayes joined the conversation from his intelligence vessel. "Every Council species has been under observation for the past 50 years. We know your military doctrines, your political weaknesses, and your biological limitations. The chamber fell silent again as the implications became clear. The humans had not just been expanding in secret, they had been conducting the most comprehensive intelligence operation in galactic history. "What do you want from us?" the Prime Speaker asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Commander Jake Morrison's voice came through the communication system. "We want you to understand that the galaxy has changed. The Council's age of dominance is over." Lisa Brooks appeared on the display, her diplomatic composure replaced by the calm confidence of someone holding all the winning cards. "Humanity offers the Council species a choice. You can continue to exist as a forum for peaceful cooperation, or you can be swept aside by forces you cannot resist. You cannot expect us to simply surrender centuries of galactic leadership." The Zilani delegate protested. Admiral Sullivan's laugh was cold and without humor. "We are not asking you to surrender anything. We are informing you that your leadership was based on the assumption that no species could challenge Council authority." "That assumption was incorrect," General Parker added. "Humanity has the capability to enforce our own policies throughout the galaxy. The question is whether the Council species want to be part of the new order or obstacles to it." The display showed detailed plans for human expansion over the next century. Thousands of new colonies, trade routes that bypassed Council space, and defensive networks that could protect human interests without Council approval. Dr. Kim provided the scientific analysis that made resistance seem impossible. Council species evolved as specialists adapted to specific environments. When those environments change, you struggle to adapt. Humans evolved as generalists who thrive on change and challenge. Your greatest strength as stable civilizations has become your greatest weakness when facing a species that never stops evolving, she continued. The final message came from Admiral John Carter aboard the human flagship. "The Council has 1 hour to inform your governments that humanity will no longer be bound by restrictions placed on us by species we have surpassed in every meaningful way. Any attempt to enforce the old order will be met with responses that will end Council authority permanently," General Parker concluded. The communication ended, leaving the alien delegates alone with their fears and the crushing weight of their new reality. Outside the chamber, human ships waited with the patience of apex predators who knew their prey had nowhere to run. The Vorthak Prime Speaker looked around the chamber at the faces of delegates who had entered believing they were the masters of the galaxy. They had discovered instead that they had been living in a universe where the real masters had been hiding in plain sight. The age of human restraint was over. The age of human dominance had begun, and 47 alien species sat in the ruins of their former authority, finally understanding that the humans had walked out because they no longer needed the Council's permission for anything. The galaxy would never be the same again.